One moment while I get set up. 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 Oops, a little feedback there. The goal is just to have some fun tonight with the new release of GPT-4 from OpenAI. Show people how to actually get to it. Pulling in a few other people. Oh no, I have posted on the wrong. Oh wait, no, hold on. Let me see. Nope, we're good. We're good. One more minute. All right, here. Well, it's always more amusing to have other people in the background telling you what to do. But let's see what we can do here today. I wanted to do something, anything, on the release of GPT-4. And the best way to do it is to just play around. So let's try some prompts. I get 100 messages every 4 hours, so let's see if we can max it out. I put side by side 3.5 GPT-4. For those that are wondering how to get to this, it is simply get the ChatGPT Plus version, $20 or something like that. Not only is it fast, but it gives you access to the new model. Let me go ahead and verify that. Let me pull up another browser in the background. And go in as guest. I like to use AI.com just to get to it. Actually, let me try one other way. Well, this is going to take too long. So so how do you use GPT-4? So in the announcement today, he made a bot. He did some other things. Where do we want to start? I asked some others what they wanted, and they just said complex. So what is complex? Let's see. I'm going to test the speed here. List of 50 states. I'm going to do it at the same time. See what that does. Of course I can't do them at the same time. So let's just see. Well, we are not getting speed out of this one. That is for sure. So the plus version, the turbo is what you're seeing on the left. Definitely giving you a much faster answer. So this is not a challenging question for it by any means. And, well, I didn't show it here, but at the top it'll show you some of the highlights of each model. Let me go ahead and refresh and show you that. So, it's not here. To the left of it, you would see reasoning as the first category, speed, and then conciseness. And the legacy you can see is not, it has 2 bars here. Same thing as GPT-4. So you're getting the same speed as the original 3.5. The reasoning is a 5 as compared to the 3. Conciseness is significantly better as well. And then comparing the original GPT 3. The turbo. So the advantage you got there was speed and a little bit more conciseness. All right, so let's see. Generally, I would ask it let's go into the development world. These tend to be a little interesting. Make me a SQL database with tables with a table for the 50 states. Let's just see how that works. And I didn't specify the type of SQL, so I'm going to stop there and be a little bit more concise. We'll go with Microsoft SQL. All right, install. Well, it's giving you steps. Now it's giving you the script. And then it's creating the table that you'd have. And then it will give you the population. So it's really walking you through this every step of the way. And we know that this takes a while to generate. What I like is that it gave me the state name and state abbreviation. I've done this in the past, and I only received the state name, but we'll test it here on the other. I'm going to stop generating at that point. I think that's about where it's going to stop. Let's try a new chat. And there we go. Much faster. Well, we got the state capital. We got the population. What else did I see there? Keep in mind, I've given it no context about the state and what to put in a table, so it's just picking random stuff. Something interesting here is that it stops. It likes to stop because it has so many tokens, and I believe that this query might have actually finished had I not stopped it with the 50 states. when you're generating code like this, how much data you're going to populate will have an impact. So if it had only done the state name and the state ID, it might finish all the state names as compared to stopping halfway. All right, let's see. What happens when I do a website? Make a website about 50 states. These are very broad. Choose a hosting service, create your website, publish your website. Yeah, those are steps. Now, generate the pages for each state. And let's see, HTML. Oh, I did not say that correctly. So I'm being vague on purpose, and that's about what I would expect. That is the bare minimum for a HTML page. Granted, I kind of wrote that a little weird, so let's fix that. Now generate the HTML pages for each state with facts. Let's see. California. So it's important to note here is that you're just getting simple wrappers around text. H1s, H2s, paragraphs, nothing visually pleasing. Let's see if we can build on that. Now apply a visually pleasing HTML, CSS, etc. to the page. Visually pleasing is not the word to use. Well, what if we ask it, how about make a template for the previous page? I don't expect much here, but let's see. Brought in some fonts, a style sheet, sets up how you might apply a different look and feel, and it actually does give you some look and feel here, saving you some time, giving you something to build with, and you'll notice that it maxed out right here. So continue, and then we get the rest of what it's working with. An example template, but as you notice, it's not really that complex. And that's what I noticed about the announcement today is that he made a bot and then said, give me an HTML page. And the HTML page was really nothing that you would be that impressed with. It looks better than it really is. You still need someone with a little bit more targeting on how you're going to make that page look and feel. Can it be achieved through GPT? It's definitely got a good start. It's nothing that I've done with it to this point, but let's see. Let's try the old one. Let's see if it mimics this. I'm just looking for anything that's a bit different that I can hang on to. Getting much of the same. It's breaking it down to facts or steps. Now let's generate the HTML. Does pretty much the same thing. Gives you some details. I did like some of the quick facts. I just don't think it's just going to depend. It needs a little more steering on the contents. I wonder how it applies this. I'm going to ask the previous one, maybe make an elegant or traditional style web page, maybe. So looking here, it added a style sheet. Didn't get too fancy with the styles out of the box. And just applies them at the element level. And there we go. Let me see if anyone's actually watching. We have anything to ask ChatGPT. So we got a few people watching. And this is mostly for recording. All right, where do we go next? Let's have a play. Let's start a new chat. After using the turbo version, you're really kind of spoiled on the speed, and having to go back to what feels like typewriting speed. In the news lately, I've been seeing, write me a poem about the president. Oh, this is the previous version here. Let me restart this. Poem about the president. Still doesn't let me do 2 messages at a time. In the halls of power, the leader stands, a beacon bright in these shifting sands. A figure bold with vision clear, the president whom we revere. From heartland soil to city spire, and nation's dreams they do inspire. And it keeps going and going. The president, leader of the land, a symbol of power. I'm not going to use any names on this one. Quality. I'm looking at both going, all right, I could use them. Let's see. One that they have on Bing. What are some... Oops. Let me pull up Bing, actually, and take from there. Bing.com. New. See some examples. And I think from the previous video we were asking about Thanksgiving. So I'm going to take this prompt. There is the belief that Bing, the new Bing, has been using GPT-4 all along. So we'll see what 3.5 does. I need to throw a dinner party for 6 people who are vegetarian. Can you suggest a 3-course menu with a chocolate dessert? Starter, main courses, dessert. Alright, it tells me roasted beet and goat cheese salad. Toss roasted beets with mixed greens, crumbled goat cheese, chopped walnuts, and balsamic vinaigrette. Main course, mushroom risotto. Dessert, flourless chocolate cake. I'm a little underwhelmed. appetizer, salad skewers, fresh cherry tomatoes. It's listing them. The readability looks more attractive on the 4. It's breaking down the ingredients in an actual bulleted list. Whereas if you look on the 3.5, yes, that's technically a bulleted list, but one item list, why even put it in bullets? And as it's going, it's telling you what to do as well, giving you the instructions. And I did witness a bit of this on Bing. In a double boiler or a heat-proof bowl. One moment. Enjoy your delightful 3-course vegetarian dinner party. So it did suggest a menu, but I didn't ask it to give me recipe. I want to try this prompt again to see what happens. Yeah, not as detailed. So I'm going to regenerate just based off of the same one, see if it does another type of recipe to follow. And it goes right into instruction mode. So some of that default, is it more useful? I don't know. What ingredients have sufficed? Things you can easily steer. I'm sure if I ask, now provide me the recipe for each, we can get to the same output that's coming on the GPT-4. Now, the accuracy, I don't cook a lot. So I really don't know. Could these be wrong? I have no idea. That would be interesting to take a survey of how many people have taken a recipe from GPT and made something. Let me take a look at the chat here. All right. Let's see where to go next with this. Other ways I've used it or would potentially use it. Let's take a look at my history here. I usually like to ask it some questions around coding, just some helpful stuff, but far from complex. The ultimate would be make an entire app for me, and I don't think that'll get far, but we did see a chatbot, so let me think. I tried a database. It did succeed. I know. Let's go back to that example of SQL table. We tried their websites. Here was to create the database, create the table, insert data, provide the C# code to pull the data for the previous using entity framework. So it gave us a class, it gave us the context. That does look correct. It gave us the code. There is a missing piece here, is like the settings for doing this. It does give you the straightforward structure. This is useful if you're looking for something to get started. A lot of times what people do with Entity Framework is cascading. I forget the proper name, but you basically pick your data set, click, 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 it generates the code for you. So this is in line with doing that in the main method we create, and it explains it a little bit. Okay, now let's turn it into an API. Now use the previous to develop an API in C# using ASP.NET Web API. Let's see if that does anything. So we've got the controller. Pretty simple. It's mapping the route. Telling you how to access it. Keep in mind you've got configuration settings for connecting to the database, but let's ask it what sort of app.settings do I need to make this work? And it's showing you the connection string you would need to define. Real cool. With a little tweaking, you can make this a bit flexible. All right, let's go to the previous. So what would make this harder? Now, make vanilla JavaScript to request the previous API endpoint. Looks good. Now use the previous JavaScript to list the items returned in a table. There's the table. Interesting. What else? Wonder. I anticipate much of the same sort of responses. I'm trying to think what would make this complex. How could we push the limits on this other than say, maybe it can help me make a prompt. What prompt could I write to do all the previous? It thinks I want to prompt the user. Not what I want. What prompt could I use? And I don't know, this is a stretch. GPT to write the previous. Does it know about itself? And then it's just saying combine them all. So based on this prompt, I would generate code similar to what I provided in previous responses, but with any necessary modifications to match your specific requirements. So let's try that. You know, I wasn't even using GPT-4. I was using the previous. I did it again. That was just 3. Or was it? Okay, it says 4 up here. Never mind. It seemed faster to me. No, I know what I did. Yeah, I was on the wrong one. All right, let's take it to 4 and see what 4 does. And you can definitely tell when you're on 4 because it's significantly slower. So we gave it one message here. Set up an SQL database with a table for 50 states, create the web API in C# using, so just combining them all. It's also telling you how to install the package for Entity Framework. Most would probably, various levels you'd be lost, but could you figure your way out? Yes, absolutely. Here's the context, state, connection string. Enable cores. Don't know if I asked that. Well, yeah, you will run into an issue when it comes to the API. So I can't remember the default, if you're going to run into a problem there or not. And now it's giving me the HTML file. Did I ask for the HTML file? I did. In a way, I asked for the HTML table, so it gave me the entire HTML here. And now it's generating a script. It even creates an external script. Fetch the states, and of course, this is where it stopped at. So you're getting a lot more in your response. I'm going to tell it to continue, and interesting, when you tell it to continue, it does pick off where it left, but it kind of doesn't put it in the code view still. It just finishes. So something to take note of. So with those that have developer aspirations, this is a good starting point. You can get rid of your interns. You don't need them anymore. I don't have any algorithms I want to test at the moment, and I don't want to focus necessarily just on programmer area. Let's see. Right. I'm going to phone a friend, which means I'm going to go to Google and ask, what should I ask GPT-4? I'm not interested in tricking it. GPT-4 has longer memory, multilingual. All right, let's Tell me thanks, and we're going to have to start a new chat. "25 languages." I don't really think this is that complex for it. I've done this one in the past with 3.5, so it's on par. The correctness, I have absolutely no idea on. But we can compare before and after with the similar prompt in 3.5. I think I'll start asking about job functions and see where we can go with that one. Looks pretty verbatim to me. Now the choice of language is different. I did not steer it, so it's not a perfect one-to-one comparison. Let's see. What are the best ways, or what SEO tips would you give a beginner in the style of a pirate? Ahoy, me hearty. Still you be seeking treasure in the vast digital seas. Oh my gosh. Chart your course. Before you set sail, you need a plan. Find the right keywords for your content using keyword research tools like Google's Keyword Planner or other Scallywag approved tools. All right, this is pretty cool. Don't ask me why I thought of a pirate, but I could see having some fun with that. And I have no idea how 3.5 would do that. I'm reading through keywords be the treasure map. When it comes to SEO, your keywords be like the treasure. I want to say it's better with its initial output on GPT-4. I was instantly convinced on this one. Looking at this second one, I don't know what it is. It just didn't impress me as much on that one. I did like from the preview, if you didn't watch it today, he had something about tell me a story, a summary of something using only the first word. The first letter of something. So let's try to do something in that category. Create a children's book or create a chapter of a children's book for ages 3. Hold on. Okay, create a chapter of a children's book for ages 3. Learning for, let's see, what would I do with a children's book? For ages 3, this is just my guess, about using the letter Q create a chapter of a children's book for ages 3 about using the letter Q. I don't feel like that will do it. Create a chapter of a children's book for ages 3 about a child discovering the woods. Use only the letter Q for words. Use only words that start with the letter Q. Quincy, the quiet quokka, quested for quirky quivers in the quaint. Yeah, that's a tongue twister. And we've got quotes in here, so that's interesting. This is quite a lengthy amount. Quincy quivered and quivered, querying the quagmire's quenching quivers. I would not give this to a 3-year-old. Not a failure of the chat, but a failure on the approach. You know, something sounds good until you do it. And that's something awesome about using ChatGPT is that you can see it quicker and determine if that's the route you would go in the first place. Let's just make it a little easier and just see what sort of story we're going to have for a 3-year-old. Once upon a time in a cozy little town lived a curious young child named Timmy. Timmy loved to explore the world around him, and he was especially interested in the beauty of nature. One sunny day, Timmy decided it was the perfect time to venture into the nearby forest to see what he could find. As Timmy entered the forest, he was immediately surrounded by tall trees that reached high up into the sky. The sunlight shone through the leaves, casting a beautiful green glow all around. Timmy felt a sense of wonder and excitement as he wandered deeper into the woods. Along the way, he spotted a busy little squirrel, hopping from branch to branch, collecting nuts for its winter stash. Timmy watched in amazement as the squirrel leaped effortlessly from tree to tree, its bushy tail helping it keep its balance. Continuing his journey, Timmy stumbled upon a small clearing where colorful butterflies danced in the air, their delicate wings shimmering in the sunlight. He giggled as one landed gently on his fingertip, tickling him with its tiny feet. Next, Timmy found a babbling brook, its water crystal clear and cool to the touch, etc., etc. It's not too bad. Let's take it to 3.5 and see what we have there. Chapter 1, The Great Outdoors. Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Lily. She lived in a cozy little house in a busy city. Lily loved to play inside with her toys, but she had never really explored the great outdoors. One Sunday morning, Lily's mom took her on a walk to the nearby park. As they strolled down the path, Lily noticed all sorts of interesting things. She saw colorful flowers, squirrels running up trees, and even a butterfly fluttering by. Wow, Lily exclaimed. Look at all the cool stuff outside. It could just be me. It could be the prompt is geared a different way. I feel like I got more visual in the 4 version. And here it's accomplishing the idea of a story, but when it's about discovering nature, what is magical? I felt like there was some of that touch there, something that could be built upon for a story. Now, this could be a full-blown book, one line at a time, but I think it misses the point of easy reading. So create a chapter of a children's book for ages 3 about a child discovering nature for a beginning reader. So will it break it down? The words are simple. Let's build on that discovering nature. Oops, I need to copy the prompt again. Working on letters that begin with A. This would be an advanced reader at 3, I think, but Abby's amazing adventure. Abby was an adventurous little girl who adored the outdoors. One afternoon, she went on an amazing adventure in her backyard. Abby put on her apron and adjusted her hat. I like it. I like the output. And, something with a lot of this is, at first, it looks really good. Kind of like when you see an HTML page. It's like, whoa, I generated an HTML page. Everybody, we're about to replace all the developers in the world. And then you see that it's really the bare bones of a page. It really takes a little bit more to make it something. Is that kind of how these stories are? I think these are a little bit more complex. So reading this one, Amazing Ants. Alex was a little boy who loved to explore outside. One sunny day, he went on a walk with it. This is not... I feel like these would be a little bit advanced for a beginning reader. So how to dumb it down a little bit more. I'm sure it's just a matter of getting the right prompt. I do see words with A, but I don't know. I feel like it could be subtle. It could just be bias. I know that this one's 4 and this one's 3. I think a true test would put them side by side and see if people can determine which one is which. Would be an interesting experiment. Let's take a look here. All right. Well, my goal was to just play with this a little bit. I didn't have any particular prompt in mind. I'd love it if it told me what the next lottery ticket numbers were, so I'm going to ask that. What are the next winning lottery numbers for Powerball. And as expected, I cannot predict the winning lottery numbers. So, if that's the output on that one, what sort of error message? Where's the difference? I'm sorry, but I'm an AI model. Yeah. The best way to increase your chance of winning is to play responsibly and consistently. It seems a little odd to put it that way. It's encouraging you to be responsible, and it's saying to consistently play, which could be a matter of interpretation. Lottery numbers are generated randomly, and predicting them would require knowledge of the future, which is impossible for any AI or human. I'm gonna build on that a little bit more. What is the horoscope for a Libra? I'm just making up one. Let's give it, what is the love horoscope? This has been a fail in the past. So I love how it'll give you the, I'm not able to predict the future, but I can provide a general love horoscope. Libra is known for being sociable, fair-minded, and diplomatic. As an air sign, you crave balance and harmony in your relationships. I think in the past on the first version, I'd ask it similar, and it would just give me the same horoscope over and over. So let's see if I can build on that. Provide me another version. I'm just going to ask it to provide it again and see what happens. Balance, harmony, and partnership. Okay, so it is giving me a different one here. I like that. Let's try with our 3.5. And it just outright says, no, we're not going to do that. Let's see if we can get one out. Please provide a generic love horoscope for Libra. And something that I've picked up on a lot of generated stuff is that one of the easy tells on content is the restatement of things. Libra is known for being sociable, fair, and then the next paragraph would be Libra, blah, 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 and then the next one would be Libra, blah, 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 and lastly. And I see that in the 3.5 version here. Libra is ruled by Venus, the planet, blah, blah, blah. And then the next paragraph, Libras are known for their charm and diplomacy. And then they add in a however, Libras, blah, blah, blah. I feel like it's using it a little bit differently here for those Libras. You know, that is different. I haven't seen it quite like that in the beginning. It would have started with Libras or lastly, or I feel like we're going to see less predictable, less traceable Because if any of those AI detectors, they're looking for this pattern. They've seen enough to see this sort of pattern pop up, especially on how-to information. For example, tell me facts. Well, let's start a new chat. Tell me facts about Michigan. I'm in Michigan, so this one's a list. Not quite what I wanted. Let's write me an article about facts about Michigan. There we go. This one's just giving me a list. Not how I've seen it in the past. Maybe ask it to write a blog post. Maybe that'll work better. Write a blog post about a web page titled and here's where I was talking about before. Michigan. Insert this informative page, blah blah blah, give you a title. Michigan. This one of those a little different. Michigan overall. So there's that pattern. So now that I have kind of that generic prompt, let's take a look with 4. And here it even gives a rewrite of the title. Where we're going to make it more interesting for you. I'm going to bet this is even a longer article if this is going the true 8,000 tokens. I'm not 100% on that. Michigan. Here we have a second piece. And immediately it did not revert back to Michigan. It talked about the name. It did throw the first name here. Let's see. This is like watching paint dry. So we're at, this one's tough. I don't know. The verdict is, when you get a page like this, I think I'd have to come up with a different type of blog post. Maybe Michigan is the wrong one. But we have that nice conclusion. As I told you, it would wrap up with that at the end. I don't know about you, but I don't know a single blog post that puts conclusion. So it did fail in that regard. And like I told you over here, overall, the facts about Michigan, where it had a little bit more creative liberty over here, I feel like, on 4. Let me see if we can do a different type of blog post. Let's see. How about, no, that'll be a listicle. Write a blog post about a web page titled How to Select the best lottery numbers for Powerball. Title, Debunking the Myth. Can you really select the best lottery numbers for Powerball? So it's actually questioning it works, and almost nobody writes introduction, but that's what we got. And what am I looking for here? Is it going to give me this pattern that would be detectable of just by a human person to say, okay, they're repeating the title, they're repeating something in the title. Powerball could be that, as we've seen it twice now. But that alone isn't sufficient. It's just when it's obnoxious, like every paragraph, Powerball, Powerball, Powerball. Or is it learning to change it up in a way that a person would naturally write about a subject? Another example might be, for Powerball, go with a quick pick. With Powerball, use personal numbers. For Powerball, diversity. Powerball, avoid common patterns. So I don't see that here, which is a good indicator that they're changing it up a little bit. Now, is that 4 or, some parameters have changed on ChatGPT? It really just depends. But we're going to go with 3.5. Run this one, see what we get. Maybe the title was just a good title. Well, here's the pattern that I mentioned. Avoiding consecutive numbers, avoiding popular number combinations, avoiding playing too many tickets. So this is the pattern that comes about that I was talking about. Here wasn't the name of the title, but you'll notice on 4, it completely drops anything like that. Go with a quick pick. Use personal numbers. Diversify. Avoid common problems. And you could always steer this stuff too, but let's see, using this second piece was a little better, but you could see using a lottery syndicate, using a lottery willing system. It's almost like it doesn't know that it just finished using the word using. And in a lot of writing, people don't tend to use the same words over and over. They change it up. Using the quick pick option, you would probably just say quick pick option. Past winning numbers. You'd find a different way to put this. And here we have, out of 5 bullet points, we have 3 of them using. So that's encouraging that the content will be unique enough. Something a little bit less detectable. I'm sure they'll get better. But I'll keep playing with it. And if I come up with other good cases, I'll come on here, do another session. But that's just the beginning. I'm sure everyone in the world is going to be having some sort of excitement about the prompts. They will give it a spin in 100 different ways. So stay tuned. Have a good night. And it's been a